Cartoon Network was and still is the definitive cartoon programming network. Where Nickelodeon and Disney Channel obviously had a mix of live action and cartoon programming, Cartoon Network had the most variety and uniqueness to it. No two shows ever looked the same. Chowder didn't look the same as Flapjack, Billy and Mandy didn't look the same as K&D. Cartoon Network also brought life to so many creators' careers. Craig McCracken, who created two very well-known Cartoon Network shows, and even one that ran on Disney Channel. There was also Xindi Tartakovsky, also known for multiple projects on Cartoon Network. Hell, he's probably the closest thing Cartoon Network got to a Butch Hartman in terms of multiple series. He had two really good shows and the one that didn't go anywhere, and has since become one of the top names in animation with the Hotel Transylvania movies and Adult Swim's Primal and Unicorn Warriors Eternal. My point is, Cartoon Network was and still is the kings of animated programming.
You're watching Cartoon Network. I'm Andrew WK.
Is this what selling out looks like? Now, CN Real is not the only case of Cartoon Network attempting to branch out to live-action programming. This can actually be traced back as far as the late 90s and early 2000s. Cartoon Network had a Sesame Street-style puppet show called Big Bag, which is considered lost media. Like, half the show doesn't exist. Like, apparently it got lost or something. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was like the mid-90s. The show was pretty much Sesame Street, right down to one episode having Elmo as the guest star. But it was unique with the idea of having the viewer have a bag full of certain items used in the episode. It was unique, I'll give them that. And then there was Out of Jimmy's Head, which is also lost media. Actually, I'm pretty sure they found this one, though. I'm pretty sure they found it like just a few months back. It was about a boy who, through some kind of incident, gains the ability to hallucinate cartoon characters. It was apparently based on a movie called Reanimated or something like that. Neither the movie or the show were received very well, and for good reason. And even after CN Real, Cartoon Network tried Level Up, which was, of course, this show about a bunch of kids playing a video game. Obviously a very popular MMO that they ripped off called The Elder Scrolls Online. It also wasn't very good. It didn't last very long. The Incredible Crew, I believe, was one of the last major attempts at live action shows for Cartoon Network. Again, not very good. It was pretty much doing what All of That, or even SNL, let's just go as far as that, was trying to do, and it failed exponentially. You know something's bad when Nick Cannon raps your theme song. My crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew. You fucked up. Though, I guess talking about something like All That is probably not a good idea. The logo was a foot. The logo was a foot! And of course, today's topic, CN Real. CN Real was a programming block that ran from June 17th, 2009 to May 28th, 2010. It promoted really cool and epic reality shows, because when I'm watching Adventure Time, I think, where the fuck is Jersey Shore?
Ah!
This is why reality TV is a fucking joke. The block was pretty critically panned, mostly because, do you see a problem with having live action programming on a network called this? Well, that ain't no damn Cartoon Network. Why there are a bunch of white bitches in it? Ultimately, CN Real led to most of these shows ending very prematurely. The only ones that lasted a little longer was Dude, What Would Happen, and Destroy, Build, Destroy. Throughout the not even a year-long run, CN Real would produce 5 original shows, while also acquiring the syndicated programming to survive this. Obviously, none of these shows are in the same level of Cartoon Network programming, because it's unfair to compare something like Ed and Eddy to fucking Bobby Says. So I'm going to take a look at these 6 shows and what resulted in Cartoon Network's most critical failure. This is CN Real.
Wednesday nights, CN Real, only on Cartoon Network.
Okay, so first up is The Othersiders. I'll be the one to say most of these shows are clearly inspired by pre-existing reality shows, and of course by inspired by, I mean completely ripping off, because this is Ghost Adventures. Screw these sorry-ass kids. Ain't there some, like, homework they gotta be doing? Billy, I know your ass got Algebra 2 homework. Dude, get your ass. Y'all need PEMDAS. I need Zach Bagans up in a bitch. Where's Aaron Goodwin at? I do not care for these amateurs, man. I should mention, none of these shows are especially great. I don't think any of these shows have aired since their original showtime, so I'm only able to use these low-quality clips. Some of them are full-on episodes on YouTube. This one ran for 23 episodes between June 17th to October 30th, 2009, and of course, it was one of the shows that got prematurely canceled due to the overwhelming negative reception of the block. This show follows a group of young paranormal investigators investigating the paranormal. The team was made up of Riley, Casey, Zach, Sam, and Jack. Don't fucking tell me that they casted a kid named Zach because the show like this that didn't suck also had a guy named Zach. Tell me that's not what they did.
And look for legit data to make a determination if a place is haunted or not.
First of all, shut up. Second of all, the fuck you mean see if it was haunted or not? Why would your team look at the information if it didn't lead to the conclusion that that bitch is haunted? I'm actually believing the group with the talking Great Dane is more credible than these bitches. The whole show is pretty much like this. They'll get information on a location, check it out, and see if it's haunted. The show is clearly fake, you know. I don't think that's really a surprise. There's not much to it. It's worth noting, though, that this is one of the more positively received shows on the block. Just something to let you guys know. I thought that was funny. You know, the bar is so low. Not much to it. It's harmless enough. If you like Ghost Adventures or you're trying to get your kids into Ghost Adventures or something, I guess this is a good, like, you know, to ease them into the idea, but there's not much there.
Survive This premieres Wednesday, June 17th at 8:30 on the Cartoon Network.
Okay, now Survive This was the only one of these 6 programs that was actually acquired, meaning it technically wasn't a major CN Real show. But with that, Survive This was a survival show putting 8 teenagers with limited survival knowledge in the wilderness for them to survive as well as compete in challenges and have their skills put to the test. It's clear that this was a ripoff of Big Brother.
We're in the cheese room, dude. Anyways.
No, of course, this was Canada's way of ripping off Survivor without just calling it Survivor Canada. That shit would be boring. Oh, sorry, eh? I gotta blindside you, eh? But I got a secret idol, eh? Oh, my bad, eh? The show got notably really hated on because many pointed out that at least when Survivor had younger contestants, they weren't of the 17 to 18. I think the youngest was a high school student. By the looks of the promos, those guys seem more like in the 14 to 16 range. That's not good when you put them through mental anguish like this. The show was swiftly canceled after 2 seasons. Mind you, this one didn't just run on CN Real. Can't say much because all there is on YouTube are trailers and promos. If you can find it somewhere else, let me know how it is. I'm kind of interested almost to see how the fuck this works.
You like cash, you like speed, you like stomach-wrenching twisted turns, well man, you've come to the right place.
Another game show here, it's Brain Rush, and this one was much more linear in its format. It's a trivia show where the contestants have to answer the questions while on roller coasters. So it's any of those cheesy trivia shows with Roller Coaster Tycoon. Alright, for your next question, what color is glass? Clear. That's wrong. Now, the show many thought this was ripping off was Discovery Channel's Cash Cab. If that's the show they can compare to, then that's not very good. Okay, that's not a brain rush, guys. Somebody check him. So I think it's pretty funny that they ask the questions during the ride. Something tells me my deaf ass would never be able to hear what they were saying. All right, for your first question. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, sorry, that was wrong. I don't know, like other ciders, it's cheesy, but it's got its own qualities, so I guess it makes up for some of the other problems with the show. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this one, but it's harmless, just kind of weird with its concept.
I'm Andrew WK, and this is Destroy, Build, Destroy!
This one ran the longest, by the way. Destroy, Build, Destroy was the poster child of CN Real. Normally that's a good thing, as poster childs are often associated as the heart of the project. Destroy, Build, Destroy is like kidney failure. This show featured Andrew WK as the host. If that name sounds familiar, he was a pretty prominent rock star. And this ain't even the goofiest shit he's done. He also was a guest speaker for the MLP convention Canterlot Gardens in 2012. Amongst other things. The show is exactly what it promises, dumb explosive fun, with Andrew just hyping the show up as we're watching it. Ain't shit about this interesting. I'd actually argue this is probably the worst of the shows, which is funny because next to Dude, What Would Happen, this was the longest running show of any of them. Where most of these shows ran for about a season, maybe 2 if they were lucky, Destroy, Build, Destroy had a collective of 4 seasons. Inside a Job only got 2, yet another mistake by Netflix. Actually, I'm willing to say Netflix canceling Inside Job was the biggest Netflix L. I stand corrected. There's no quality to the show. It's really, really stupid. I can't recommend it. Moving on.
What's up? I'm Bobby J, and these are my boys, the dudes.
Next up, we have Bobby Says. Who's Bobby? Right there. Look at him. There he is. And what's he got to say?
Booby.
Bobby Says, funny enough, was the show that ran the least out of all these shows. It ran for a total of 5 episodes between August 27th and September 23rd, 2009. So what popular reality show could Bobby Says be ripping off? Not kidding, Tosh.0. That is what every major outlet says when talking about this show. I mean, yes, both shows premiered in 2009. It just so happens that one of those shows would run for 11 years and the other would run for 11 seconds. I gotta say, from what I've seen, sadly, this was in the Survive This territory where there's just nothing on the show itself other than the promos. Bobby himself, aka Bobby J. Thompson, is surprisingly charming, and Tosh Ho's format is always so great in all the shows that I took from it. While I'm sure it wasn't a masterpiece, I would have liked to at least experience Bobby Says. If you find any footage, or if you've actually watched it, tell me what you think.
Dude, what would happen if we tried to roll underwater?
Okay, so I know I just said that Destroy, Build, Destroy was the worst from this block, but I think that honor actually goes to Dude, What Would Happen. 3 friends set up different experiments to answer their questions. It's Mythbusters. It's really, they didn't even bother putting any cool twists on it. That's Mythbusters, but instead of Adam Savage and Jamie Hyman, it's Jay and Silent Bob. And while technically Destroy, Build, Destroy had the longer run at 4 seasons, the longest run episode-wise was this show. It ran for a total of 41 total episodes, while Destroy, Build These Nuts ran for 38. Meaning this show was the longest running show in terms of length. And hey, both ran for 1 year after the CN Real block ended, so I guess they both got the honor of being the CN Real shows that ran for 2 years instead of half a year. It's really Mythbusters for crackheads. We're done. I gotta say, I liked when Cartoon Network made these mistakes because by 2013, they were completely done with live action programming, with only a few occasions. Because ultimately, Cartoon Network is supposed to be just that, a cartoon network. They really were one of the first of their kind, and it's important they remembered that throughout the years and continued to create programming unlike any other. Oh, well, I don't see any jokes, so until next time, Xander out.
Destroy, build, destroy!
God damn you, Andrew WK!